Right, well, hi everyone, it's the Volt Rider. I'm out on the Himalayan again. I've now done 479 miles. There'll be an opportunity to tell you what I think of it now I've had a bit more experience. Well, generally speaking, my impressions are pretty positive. It's smoothing out, freeing up. Engine's unbelievably smooth for a single. I have pushed it up to 70 briefly and no vibration on the mirrors at all. Gearbox is sweet, no force neutrals, very positive. Yeah, the riding position's comfortable, mirrors are good. Had a bit of an issue with this colder weather with it stalling when it's cold. But it is pretty chilly, and I just find if you let it warm up for 2 or 3 minutes it's not too bad then. Once you've got it going it's fine. Yeah, the seat's comfortable, I've not had any problems with the seat. Ergonomically the riding position's good. I'm only 5'3½", so I'm a small rider, and for me the foot pegs are in a really good position. The suspension is really good. For a budget bike it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, it's all in all it's pretty good. I mean, it's got its downsides, the same as anything else. The compass is a bit of a gimmick, to be honest. At least it's working now, which it wasn't when I did my first impressions ride. Yeah, and I'm still not sure about the matte finish on the paint, about how durable that's going to be, but time will tell. It had its first service at 300 miles. Yeah, all in all it's pretty good. I mean, for 4,200 on the road, plus 450 for the panniers, it's a lot of motorcycle for the money, I guess. Obviously it's not as refined as more expensive motorcycles, but for what I want it for, which is sort of gentle, relaxed touring, I think it'll be more than happy to cruise at between 60 and 70. Fuel consumption's absolutely excellent. I mean, I've done 95 miles since I filled up, and it's still almost 2/3 full. Admittedly, I am riding it very gently, but from what I gather, you can expect 75 to the gallon, even if you ride it hard. So, I find the screen quite good as well. Perhaps if you're a bit taller you get some buffeting, but I don't. I find it's really good. But as I say, I'm very short, so it's not an issue for me. It's quite a windy day today, got quite a strong side wind, but it doesn't seem to phase it really. It's the 30th of November today, and this is a bit of a bonus ride. We've had a few wet days, so there's no salt on the roads. Any salt would have been washed off, and it's a glorious day, as you can see. Not very warm, it's only about 8 degrees, but I've now fitted Oxford heated grips, so my hands are lovely toasty and warm. Fitting the grips was fairly straightforward. I had to use a Dremel to take all the ridges off the throttle body on the twist grip, but apart from that they were quite easy to fit. I haven't wired them in via a relay, although I have got one available that is fitted, but I don't think I need to because of the Oxford intelligent controller. It switches itself off if it doesn't recognise any activity going on the electrics, so you don't have to worry about leaving them on and flattening the battery. I mean, they're nice and toasty. I've got them on 50% at the moment. In fact, I'm going to go down to I can't read that, 40% I think it is, but yeah, it's good. I'm doing 30 in 5th gear. It's 2,500 RPM and it's fine. So all in all, I think a very fine motorcycle when you consider the price. I have to say I'm very impressed at the way they've designed the balancer shaft. It's incredibly smooth for a single. I've never ridden a single that's anywhere near as smooth before. So that's really good. I mean, there were some downsides to it. The side stand's too long, and it was sitting too upright. And then if you had, if you loaded the panniers up and that, it would have, it'd have been sitting almost vertical and could have toppled over. But I've just, with the Dremel, taken a little bit off the side stand stop, so it sits a bit further forward. Therefore, the bike sits a bit more over. It's not used any oil yet. So yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I like the display. I really like the analog dials. I think the rev counter's not necessary, but the fuel gauge is excellent. And then you've got a gear position indicator, clock. All motorcycles should have a clock. I haven't adjusted it yet for the hour going back. Or have I? Yes, I have. Oh yes, I forgot, because I disconnected the electrics when I fitted the heated grips. So I have adjusted it. And you've got 2 trips, which can show you either distance or average speed. The fuel gauge is pessimistic. When you get to the red, you've got best part of a gallon left. So you've got at least another 50 miles when it starts to get on the red. Probably more than that actually, probably 80 miles if you're riding fairly gently. So, someone behind me, is he going to come past? Don't think so. So according to the manufacturers, you're supposed to keep to 50 for the first 1200 miles, but I don't think that's going to happen somehow. I mean, it's feeling so loose now, and so smooth, that I'm going to start, when I get to 500 miles, I'm going to start cruising at 55, and then perhaps at 600 miles take it up to 60, and then but keep it there then until I finish running in completely. I think it goes quite well, really. I mean, it's only 24.5 horsepower, so it's certainly not going to rip your arms off, but it's quite torquey. And it's not an engine that likes to be hurried. You're best to do short shift and use the low down torque. It's quite a noisy engine too. Makes all sorts of weird noises, but they all do that. It's just a characteristic of them. Right, I'm up to 60 now. Those mirrors are absolutely rock solid. Not a hint of vibration. Going to turn my heated grips up. I think heated grips really are an essential on any bike. Before I fitted them, miserable cold hands, but now they're lovely and toasty. I have toyed with the idea of fitting handguards on it, but I'm not really keen on the look of them, to be honest. Let's push it up a bit now. So 65, 70, look, and the mirrors are still no vibration at all. Right, let's come back down again. I think it does it good to give it a little bit of work to do just for a quick burst. Oh, blimey, look at this traffic here. Glad I'm not following that lot. Running in bikes is a bit tedious, but it has to be done. Got this thing about dirty mirrors. I hate it if they're all smeary and that. Sad, aren't I? That's a real bonus to get out, because normally once there's a hint of salt about, that's it, the bikes are off the road. You can say what you like and use what you like, ACF 50 or what have you, but in my experience, once they've seen salt, the bike's never quite the same again. I think this is going to be absolutely ideal for touring. I think this is a bike you could actually do some serious miles on. Oh, hello sir. I think Royal Enfield have come a long way in the last couple of years. I know that when the Himalayan first came out, it was plagued with all sorts of problems, and I think that was a huge wake-up call for them. But the BS4, the European version, I think is pretty much sorted out. There are a few issues owners have reported, notchy steering head bearings being one of them, and also some owners have had problems with the throttle cable snapping. I believe Royal Enfield have done a redesign there. Just hoping mine doesn't snap, although I've got a repair kit in the panniers. Oh, fantastic Kestrel. To be honest, I'm finding it hard to keep it down to 50 now, because it's running so smoothly and free. I don't think it needs it, but I'll be good. Not in a rush anyway, so. '50's actually quite a nice speed for just looking at the scenery and smelling the roses, so to speak. Obviously, if you've got miles to cover, then you want to push it a little bit harder, but otherwise it's quite a sweet speed. We're heading towards Horncastle at the moment. The bike. Got a nod that time. I think it's such a nice day that I think I'm going to go a little bit further. Alright, I'll go into Newcastle. I'll go into Horncastle and then out towards Spilsby. Yeah, it's happy at 30 and 5th, but I think it's a little happier in 4th. And it's better from a riding point of view, because it gives you a few revs to play with either side, whereas if you're in 5th, if you need to slow down, you're going to have to change down. So, fairly quiet here at the moment. A few cars here. controls are good. All the switch gear. I think the quality is every bit as good as Japanese bikes. I've certainly got no regrets about buying it at the present time, but we'll just see how the reliability pans out. Oh, it really is a glorious day. Hello sheepies. Yeah, it certainly wants to go more than 50. But I'll be good. Another 8 miles and then I'll start doing 55, although, to be honest, I don't see why I shouldn't now. Let's give it a bit of work to do. Let's get it up to 60. Seems to handle fairly well. Obviously with a 21-inch front wheel, it's never going to turn in sharply, and you do have to sort of manhandle it a little bit. Perhaps I should be person handling these days, otherwise I'll offend someone. Well, if I do, tough shit. So yeah, not bad at all. And the tyres are semi-knobblies, they're Pirelli MT60s. I haven't taken it off road and I've no intention of doing so, but they're fine on road. They seem quite grippy. I have ridden it in the wet a couple of times and don't seem to lack any grip. Worst thing about the bike is the brakes. The front brake is a bit pathetic, to be honest. You've really got to squeeze like hell to get any retardation. The back brake, on the other hand, is very good. If anything, I would say it's a little bit too good, and it's a bit prone to locking up. The ABS is, I think, a little bit of a first generation job, and I have had the rear wheel just lock momentarily before the ABS kicks in. Right, another bite. That's her. I'm going this way. Get off this main road. Yeehaw! I'm guessing this might be my last ride this year. God, that sun's bright. Heading now towards Winsby. And that plaque in the lay-by there commemorates the Battle of Winsby, which is during the English Civil War, and the Cavaliers got a good drubbing by the Roundheads. Interestingly enough, Oliver Cromwell was almost killed in that battle. And what it was, the Royalists were defending Bolingbroke Castle, which is about 5 miles from here, and the Roundheads were coming to try to take it, which I believe they did, and then they sort of wasted it, which is why it's just a ruin now, and well, there's not much of it left at all now. Standing up's okay as well, got a good position. It's great for standing up to give you a bum a rest, although as I said earlier, the seat's not bad at all. Well, I'm looking forward to taking this on tour next year. No doubt it'll be pretty good. I mean, compared to my street triple, the comfort is just amazing. I mean, don't get me wrong, the street triple's not bad, and I have toured on that this year, but this is a lot more comfortable. Right, roads are a bit damp here, so let's just take it steady. The other thing I've noticed about it is the speedometer is incredibly accurate. Comparing it to my GPS, that's at 50 mile an hour, it's only about a mile an hour out, which is quite amazing. I'm luxuriating in the heat from my heat grips. Can't beat them. I believe heated gloves are better, but I don't really want the hassle of having to connect them up to the bike all the time. Clutch action is good on it. Clutch isn't too heavy. Seems to engage nicely as you pull away. According to the compass, I'm going southeast, which actually is probably pretty much right, I reckon. Bit of a gimmick, isn't it, the compass? But I suppose if you're in the middle of nowhere and you need to navigate by compass, then it could come in handy. Right. I'll be heading into the sun now, so that's where perhaps a peak would be nice. At least I've got my dark visor. The sun's so bright I can't see the clocks at all. I just barely see the speedometer. I mean, they are very clear instruments. When the sun's that bright, you're not going to see a thing. Oh, the other thing I've noticed is the exhaust note's quite nice. It's not offensively loud, but it actually sounds quite nice. So I've done 117 miles since I filled up, and the gauge is showing half full, so I reckon there's an easy 200 mile tank range. Right, turn right here and head towards home. It's been a real bonus getting out today. Absolutely lovely. The opportunities are few and far between at this time of year. So just take advantage of them when you can. Lorry. That's the only thing with this bike, is you just haven't got the power to overtake things. It requires a lot of careful planning and a lot of space to be able to get by anything. So like this lorry, let's see what speed he's doing. Yeah, he's doing 50, and I'm just not going to get by. Just haven't got the power.